If I get a little loud, I don't know, lower your volume. Ladies and gentlemen, you probably have been bombarded with some form of information regarding what happened in the country today. People in my position, we are basically put in a position where we shouldn't talk about it, based on the fact that, as a generalization, half of people believe in one thing and about half of people believe in another thing. It's very hard to sort of approach these subjects, which can hurt you as a trader and as a person. However, I feel ignoring these topics would be a great disservice to you. It would be a great disservice for even my title here, Director of Trading Psychology. So we're going to approach it today. And I'm going to show you how to overcome toxicity. Because what goes on and what you listen to and what you read can have a very negative impact on your life, including your trading. We're going to discuss that today. And I'm going to hopefully put things in a little bit of perspective. I am Mark Melnick. This is the Newsbeat Show. By watching this, you agree that I have full ownership of your firstborn. Now you're going to pause this, read it all, agree to it, and then hit play. Thank you so much. You might be wondering, you might be saying, Melnick, you never wear a hat. Why are you doing it? Because it's a very emotional topic for me. And I really, I want you to focus more on the words than and the thought processes more than what I'm saying, because what I'm saying, anybody could say, it doesn't matter. Okay. I'm going to talk about something today. So I did a video. I did a video recently talking about my favorite thing for 2021, some products. Some of those things have quadrupled in value since, and the game looks just hotter than ever. And I want to talk a little bit about that. You see, when it comes to life and trading, it's all about personal development. That is the key to being a great trader. You see, ladies and gentlemen, what you become is far more important than what you get. In life, people, especially in trading, they try to say, this is what you're going to get if you join the Newsbeat Live service. We're going to give you the S marks. We're going to give you a ton of free education. We're going to give you, mentorship. We're going to give you the best community here in T3. We're going to give you all these great things. But the most important question to ask as a trader is not, what am I getting? The most important question to ask is, no, I'm not going to be one of those, don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. I'm not getting into that. The most important question as a trader is not to ask, what am I getting? The most important question that you should be asking as a trader is, what am I becoming? And that is one of the key things that I try to focus here when I try to change people's lives. Now, let me just hear you right now. If you were, what do you think? You're being surrounded. Oh my God. And what? You don't think I have friends on both sides of the aisle? Oh no, Mark, you're not supposed to talk about that. Like, it's not professional to talk about these things, right? I have friends on both sides of the aisle. And you know what happens? Friends on one side of the aisle say, oh my God, can you believe this BS? Look at all this stuff happening in the Capitol. Oh my God, this is awful. And you know what other people say on the opposite side of that aisle? They say, where the F were you over the past X amount of months when it was happening in all these cities? Now you're talking about it? And then the other side says, oh no, that's much different than this. And the other side is like, no, it isn't. And one side thinks they're right, and the other side thinks they're right, and they're both right, and they're both wrong. And that is what it's about. And if you allow this stuff to literally seep into you, you are going to hurt yourself as a trader. So I'm going to put something in perspective. As you traders out there, some of you, a lot of you, not all of you, And we're gonna have some charity thing tonight. And if you're watching this show, stay here, walk away from your computer. You don't want to listen? I'll be giving money and donating on your behalf based on the number of people here. So by watching this show, you are an automatic participant in this donation. There is a link in the description if you're interested. And if you're not interested, hang out and I'll give on your behalf. But I need to put things in a little bit of a perspective for you. I need to put things in a little bit of perspective for you. So here's the great challenge of your life. You can have more than you've got right now because you can become more than you are. That is the great focus of attention for life change, not only change as a trader. So while we're sitting here and our fancy schmancy this is, and we're sitting here talking about stocks, pretending like all this stuff doesn't exist because I'm not supposed to talk about that. I'm supposed to smile in your face, show you a bunch of stocks, and pretend like, that's the value and that's why you're here. No, I'm here to make you a better trader. I'm not here to vomit out shit that I like and hope you enjoy it. That is not my goal. So I want to put things in a little bit of perspective for you. Just please humor me. I'll be donating on your behalf. Just humor me for a second. I want to talk about Rothman-Thompson syndrome. You see this little beautiful girl smiling, and I really mean little. She is a little girl. And that is, and I'm going to read it to you a little, and meet Lucy Ava May Hansen. She is one of less than 500 people in the world with Rothman-Thompson syndrome, RTS. Their story, and I met this person inside the Flesh and Blood community. And for those who invested in Flesh and Blood by 2021 idea, congratulations, first of all. But second of all, this is somebody who owns a local gaming shop, an LGS as they call them, and he literally bought into Flesh and Blood just to make sure that he could take care of his daughter's future because he did not know what kind of paths would lead ahead. So while you're sitting there, some of these people, some of these traders sitting there, with their sipping on their wine glasses, talking about, the political issues. I want to put things in a little bit of perspective if you think you're having a hard time right now. And I want to show you what a real hero looks like, because maybe you just need to see it. I need to see it. I promise you, you need to see it. Unless you're one of those conceited a-holes who feel like your crap doesn't stink, you really do need to see this right now. Okay? Their story began. I'm going to just rip through this real quick. Their story began when they were 18 weeks pregnant. An ultrasound confirms that their daughter was growing at a slower rate than she normally would have been based on IUGR, that's intergrowth uterine growth restriction. They had no idea at the time that their daughter, Lucy, was simply destined by genetics to be a little smaller than the average baby. She was born 6 weeks early at 2 pounds 4 ounces. 2 pounds 4 ounces, okay? Some of you guys, you do larger things that weigh larger in the toilet before trading begins in the morning than 2 pounds and 4 ounces. They spent 35 days in the NICU. They spent 35 days in the NICU. From the moment she was born, she was strong, brave, happy, and tiny. Around 3 months of her life, she began to develop a rash on her cheek that was rather persistent. It was diagnosed as eczema, and they went on with their life. Eczema. Okay, that sucks. We'll get through it. October 2019, just recently, it began to spread to the backs of her legs, her arms, and hands, and it was clear to us that this was potentially something more than simply eczema. And so we were seen by 2 more dermatologists. That was when we first heard of RTS. We met with a pediatric dermatologist in Boston, so they're moving around trying to figure out what on earth is going on with their daughter. They had genetic testing done and confirmed that she did indeed have RTS. And it's characterized by the following clinical features. It's not just a rash. I want to tell you what some people have to go through when all this bullshit on the news is happening that's really upsetting you in your life and throughout the past 4 years, 8 years, whatever amount of time you're listening to this news. So here are the characteristics of the disease. It's a unique skin rash that begins in infancy, usually on the cheeks, spreads to the arms and legs, and persists for life. This rash is called poikiloderma and consists of areas of increased and decreased pigmentation, prominent blood vessels, and thinning of the skin. Another condition is sparse, absent scalp hair, eyebrows, or eyelashes. For a girl, for anyone that is awful. For a girl, it's more awful. They have a very small stature. They have diarrhea or vomiting in their early childhood. They have bone deformities, dental and nail abnormalities, juvenile cataracts, and skin cancer, usually basal cell or squamous cell carcinomas or bone cancer, which is an osteosarcoma. So it's pretty much that's it. I'm going to go and then I'm going to follow through with the speech just to put your life in because I know you're having a real hard time in life, and maybe you are, and I'm not making light of it. And I just need you to see the perspective of someone else in the world and what they're going through during this time, all right? So what they're doing is they're literally selling t-shirts, not for themselves. They're selling t-shirts to promote RTS awareness to the general public, healthcare professionals, and individuals affected with RTS and their family members. Your donations today will enable them to sponsor annual conferences, regional seminars, and keep the patient registry going and expand research activities worldwide. Funding for extremely rare genetic conditions is incredibly hard to come by. Diseases people have never heard for, people don't throw money for. They've never heard of them. Organizations of all sizes have had their funding impacted by COVID-19, and the harsh reality of the situation is that larger organizations are seeking out the smaller funding this year more than they have in years in the past, making it harder and harder for their leading researcher to secure the funding they need to keep their research alive. So what they're doing is they're selling t-shirts, and you can buy them on in different colors. And what this t-shirt basically says, it says show you care, support someone rare, and it supports rtsplace.org. It's an awareness for somebody. And I'll get back to that soon. And if you listen to the end of this video, I will be donating on your behalf. But now to continue with the video, um, the greatest challenges you have as a trader is to develop into something you can do. One of the biggest problems that traders go through is they have somebody who's sitting there just dumping, telling them, you should do this, you should do this, and do that. Now, on the other side of the coin, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you've got. I've discovered that making money as a trader does not usually exceed my own personal development. Sometimes money takes a lucky jump. Sometimes you'll do a trade and you'll make money, but unless you keep growing, you'll get right back to where you are. How many traders make this money and then all of a sudden they just revert back down again? How many people can say that they have experienced that? I think pretty much any trader that's been trading for a few years can say that they've been experiencing something like that. Life has strange ways. A very rich man once said, if you took all the money in the world and divided it equally among everybody, it would soon be back in the same pockets. I'll repeat that for you one more time, just so you hear it one more time. A very rich man once said, if you took all the money in the world and divided it equally among every single person, it would soon be back all in the same pockets again. I guess it's hard to keep what you haven't attracted by your own personal development. Personal development, that is done by growing yourself, being in an environment that you can grow yourself. That is why a lot of you Newsbeat Live members, as far as I know, the majority of you Newsbeat Live members are consistently profitable. Because I focus on your personal development. So how important is it? Remember, the major key to your better future is you. That's a sentence with a lot of value, whether you realize it or not. I suggest you put it up somewhere for a while where you could see it every day. The major key to your better future is you. Just to remind you, as you put your day together, I call it the silent seminar. The major key to your better future is you. For a share of my life, I didn't understand the importance of my phrase. For not just a share of my life, pun intended, as a day trader, but for the vast amount of my day trading career, I didn't understand it. Among a lot of things I didn't understand back in the late 90s and early 2000s when I was trading. Back then, some things used to puzzle me. I used to wonder why two people could work for the same exact company and one make twice as much money. Why would one person be paid $5,000 a month while the other person is paid $10,000 a month? If it was the same company, the same product, the same service, the same training, the same weather, the same traffic, the same this, that. Maybe they were the same age. Maybe they went to the same school. Wouldn't that be a puzzle? Why would one person do twice as well as somebody else? So why are you in a trading service right now and there are people doing twice, three, four, five, infinitely if you're losing money and they're making money? Why are they doing infinitely better than you? Well, back then I tried to figure it out the best I could. I thought time makes some of the difference. Some people do better because they have more time. I used to say, you ought to do well. Somebody ought to do well. They got a lot of time. Mark ought to do well. He's got a lot of time. If I had all of Mark's time, I could do well. Now, you might be sitting there and thinking, that's got to be dumb, right? That's got to be stupid. You can't get someone else's time. Somebody once said to me, if I had extra time, I could make some extra money. And then I said, then you have to forget it. There isn't any more time. Where would you find any? Are you going to slow the Earth's rotational spin to create more hours in the day? When the clock strikes 12 midnight, the day's over. That's it. There isn't any more time. If you insist on finding more than 24 hours in a day, you're not going to find it. So if we can't get more time, what could we do that would make the difference in our trading results? What could we do? And the simple answer is value. Value makes the difference. You can't get more time, but you can become more valuable. So value makes a major difference on how much money you earn. Now here's a lesson. In economics, we get paid for value. Bringing value to the marketplace is how we get paid. Whether you work as a day trader, you work bringing goods and services, whatever it is, you get paid for that value. Now, I know it takes time to bring value to the marketplace, but you don't get paid for the time in the market. You could spend all the effing time in the world reading your charts, busting your chops, doing all these things, and you still might not make money. So you don't get paid for the time. You get paid for the value. A man might mistakenly say, I'm getting $20 an hour. And the correction is, no, you're not getting $20 for the hour. If that was true, you could sit your butt at home and have them send you a check in the mail with your money. You don't get paid. No, you do not get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you put in on an hour. An hour is just simply a convenient way to measure the value in which you are putting in. So one of the important questions to ask right now for you as a trader, is it possible to become twice as valuable and make twice as much money in the same time? Could you become 3 or 4 or 5 times as valuable, make 3 or 4 or 5 times as much money in the same time? And guess what? I got a very beautiful answer for you. The answer is yes, of course. You can become more valuable if, and it's always if, right? And here's the big if we are going to consider. It's possible to earn 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times as much money or more in the same amount of time if you try to go to work primarily on yourself. I know it's much easier to have somebody else and pay them the money and have them do it for you. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. How many of you guys in the Newsbeat live room, came to me thinking that I was going to instill the value in you, but all I did was show you how to build it in yourself, and now you're successful. Isn't that funny? You came to me with the wrong intention, but that's okay. I understand, and yeah, I understand where you guys are coming from. I get it. And that's what we're considering here today, learning to work primarily on ourselves. If you want to be happy, if you want to be wealthy, learn this lesson. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. I never knew that. I was F. I mean, I still remember what Nadav said to me. Shit. Back in, this is after we moved to State Street from William Street from T3. You know what he said to me? Because I always had a pack of cigarettes on me, and I used to smoke. You know what he said to me? And it's something that just I don't sometimes I can't remember what I ate for dinner yesterday, but I can remember these words. You know what he said to me? He's like, "That's slow motion suicide," is what he said to me with my cigarettes, and it resonated with me. And I remember when I was trading, and if you're a smoker, a smoker of cigarettes, you'll be able to relate to me here. We would sit in front of the computer, and you would start to get that feeling like I really need a smoke, and you would go for a smoke break. And that sort of feeling, trying to pull you away from what you need to do, was that smoke break. That cigarette was controlling part of your trading. When he said that to me, I understood why I wasn't able to make the money I was today. I understood why, even though if I was making money, it was paycheck to paycheck. I was a hard worker on my job. I would stay in the market. I would work, come in there early. I remember Scott Redler, always the first person in the office. I don't know how the F he did. He did it. Like I remember just coming in like one day it was like 5:45 in the morning, like from Brooklyn into Manhattan. It was stupid early, and all the lights were off in the office, and the computers were on in William Street. And who's there? It's effing Scott Redler. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, what time did that man step foot inside this office? What time did he step foot inside this office? And I used to work very hard on my job, but I didn't work hard on myself. And when he said that, I understood all the problems. I would have said to him, if he asked me, if somebody came and asked me and he said, "Mark, are you a hard worker?" I would have said, "Yes, I'm a hard worker. Look at what I do. Check my record." And that was true. I was a hard worker, but see, that was my problem. I was working hard on my job, but I wasn't working hard on myself. And that was the main reason for my lack of progress at the time. You see, it's easy to get faked out. The man says, "I've got 10 years experience. I don't know why I'm not doing better. I've been trading for a decade." What he doesn't understand is that he probably has 1 year of experience repeated 10 times. He might have grown pretty well that first year, and he just did that the first year 9 more times. He didn't keep growing. And some people look for more money, but they look forward in the wrong direction. A man might say, "I need more money. I'm going to work on my boss." And some say, "Hey, I found out bosses are notorious. They don't play fast and loose with the company till I've never seen a boss get excited and triple somebody's wages." They don't behave in such an irrational manner, so that's not it. Some people say, "I'll strike for more. I'll increase my tier size." Well, the problem with that is once you start, you'll always have to strike. And I'll tell you what you get by demand is little bitty pieces barely enough. A guy in sales might come and say, "I know what I'll do. I'll get me some of those sales books that teach the tricky sales. I'll put it on my prospects, dazzling with my sales footwork. I'll grab their money before they know what's happened." Well, you can try that, but in my personal experience, it shows that you wind up at the bottom of the economic ladder, not at the top. And it's not what you get by tricks that count. It's not, I'll show you these 3 little trading strategies that I use. It's not these little tricks that count. It's not what you get by demand. It's what you get by performance that counts. And I found out that this performance comes not from the outside, ladies and gentlemen, but from the inside. And for the first part of my trading career and really my life in general, I was always looking for the answers on the outside before I finally discovered all the answers I needed were actually on the inside. Success, ladies and gentlemen, is not something you pursue. Success is something you develop. It's not something you pursue. Success is something you develop. And traders ask me all the time, Mark, how are you so consistent? How are you doing all this money? How are you above average? And the answer is to become an above average person is develop an above average handshake. Some people want to be successful and they don't even work on their handshake. As easy as that would be to get started on, they let it slide. They don't understand. Develop an above average smile. Develop an above average intelligence. Develop an above average interest in other people. Develop an above average diet. Develop an above average workout routine. I'm not saying you have to be Iron Man 2020 like Redler. Develop an above average intensity to win. And then, and only then, will you see that above average mentality make you into an above average, not only person, an above average trader. Probably one of the most frustrating experiences in my life was looking for something to do with my life that was above average. You see, as somebody Jewish, I don't know if you know what it's like to be Jewish, so I'll explain it real quick. There's only 2 jobs your mother wants you to be if you have a Jewish mother. Does anybody know what those 2 jobs are? The Jewish people know. Doctor is one. Doctor or lawyer, correct. You need to be a doctor or lawyer. So I'm a college dropout. I'm not going to be either of those 2 things, right? I'm not going to be either of those 2 things. So in order for me to, and it was so frustrating for me growing up in life to look for an above average job with above average pay without becoming an above average person was impossible. I couldn't get an above average job and an above average pay if I wasn't willing to become myself an above average person, and then you get frustrated. I've got something to tell you. And for some of you, I've known a long time, and for some of you, a very short time. Maybe for some of you, it's the first time you hear me talking. But for things to change for you, you've got to change. And it might be not quite the answer you were looking for. But that's one I'm going to give you now that I wish somebody gave me when I was going through my process. And now I bring it to you after pondering for the past 2 decades as a trader. For things to change for you, you've got to change, no matter what successes you've already achieved. Otherwise, it isn't going to change for you. I sure used to say, as a trader, I sure hope things will change for me. And that seemed to be my only hope. I would fantasize about it. And if it wasn't going to change, I was in serious trouble. But then I found out it wasn't going to change. And then I was really in serious trouble. Because in order to get to that next level, it has to do with the personal development for who you are as a human being. You do as much as humanly possible. And unless you're willing to invest in yourself, time-wise, sometimes it's a little money. Can you eat organic food as opposed to inorganic? It costs a little more. I get it. You're not going to be able to do 100% if you're in a tough situation. But I will tell you right now, if you develop yourself, you are going to get to that next level. You are going to become a better trader. You are going to make more money. And you are going to live a life in which you were only able to dream about up until now. So I ask you, going back to the charity here, while you're sitting here reading whatever is going on out there, there's somebody who's fighting just to know how long his daughter might be around and trying to make every day count. While some of you are just sitting there on your social media bashing somebody else on the other side of the table. And that goes for everybody, on no matter what political side you're on, when you're in the middle, you're on the left, you're on the right, you're far left, far right, far middle, this, that. However they want to classify you. There are people out there who have a lot bigger problems than that nonsense and that BS. And this is why we give to so many charities, because we understand that we need to be an above average person, and just one aspect of being an above average person is having the ability to do something good with your money, to make the world a better place, not to go buy a Death Star or a 500 room mansion. Sometimes it's just making the world a better place. So I encourage you right now, if you would join me and buy yourself some t-shirts. I'm going to go ahead and buy some with you. How fat am I? Let's see, 2XL, 3XL, 4XL. I don't know. Usually these things are small, and I want to go with the 2XL, so that looks a little tight around the neck. Just buy a bunch of these things. All right, I'll buy pullover hoodie. They only have small and medium. Oh, different colors have different sizes. 2XL. We'll add one of those to the carts. Another 2XL in this color. We'll add that to the cart. We have another color over here. We'll add that to the cart. We have pink over here. We'll add that to the cart. Let's see. Classic long sleeve tee. Definitely. 2XL. Added that to the cart. And the link in the description. And I will be looking at the number of people here. So if you are watching with us right now, stick around. You'll be donating quasi your attendance. Over here, we're going to add that to the cart. Over here, we're going to add that to the cart. Let's get a crew neck sweatshirt. We're going to, what the F. We'll add that to the cart. Let's see, this color? Cool, we'll add that to the cart. Cool, this color, we'll add that to the cart. And if you don't have a use for all these shirts, which I definitely don't, my wife will kill me when she sees all this. She won't. I'm just going to donate it to like a clothing drive. Classic unisex tee. We'll add that to the cart. We'll add that to the cart. We'll add that one to the cart. We'll add that one to the cart. And we'll add that one to the cart. Comfort long sleeve tee. Definitely need some of those. Adding that one to the cart. Adding that one to the cart. Adding that one to the cart. We're going to add this one to the cart. And we're going to add that to the cart. Right over here. Women's racer back. You know what? Honestly, sometimes I feel like a woman. Let's see. Maybe my wife will want one. Ooh, what size is my wife? Well, she's like 5'1". She's kind of small, but I want something loose and more comfortable feeling, so maybe medium. Add that to the cart. Add that to the cart. Add that to the cart. And definitely need that one. Add that to the cart. And if they had like a light green, that would be nice. Oh, perfect. Add that to the cart. What else do we have here? Youth unisex t-shirt. Youth crew neck. All right, we'll add one of those to the carts, and we'll add, I guess, one of those to the carts. All right, see card and check out. Yeah, pullover hoodie XL. They don't have the 2XL on that. That's fine. All right, crew neck shirt. Guess medium. Actually, I'm not going to get a medium shirt. I just can't wear that. So I'll remove that one. Get a large here. Get a large there. And we're going to check out with PayPal. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this right now. Check out with PayPal. Oh, cool. And hold on, before I check out with PayPal, what you could do at the bottom? Oh, you could just add a donation. So you could just go ahead and add a little bit of money if you want on top of that. So you really, I'm going to start Xing off these things just so I could add more money. I thought you had to just buy a T-shirt, so, but you could buy a T-shirt and you could just add the money. I'm just going to remove some of the T's here, just throw $1,000 on top, and I'll only the XL pink one because it's not 2XL and I'm kind of a big dude. Beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. Check out with PayPal. So you could also add a donation at the end. And oh, this is going to be fun shipping. It's a lot of money. All right, and let's go ahead, continue and pay. Full name, that is my full name. All right. It's a shit ton of clothes. I have to share my full name and contact due to reporting. All right, so I have to share my name. You're obligated to share your name. We are processing your order. Please do not refresh this page. I'm going ahead and I'm processing it now. All right. All right. So went ahead and I'm going to go ahead and click share on Facebook. Support this today. All right. I've never supported things on Facebook. I'm going to support it with my friends, post to Facebook, and just momentarily with me. So I went ahead and I placed it, and yeah, it feels really good. It feels really good to share something like that with you guys, and I made sure I gave um, a multitude more of that $1,000 that I put in through everything else that I took as well. And yeah, there's Amazon Pay as well. And I just want to say, with all this stuff, with all these things going on in the world, and for the world being a hard place, I just want you guys to know while you're sitting there on your phones with your social media and listening to people who share your opinions and people who disagree with your opinions and all this stuff going on, there are people out there who are trying to make the most, who all this political stuff means nothing to them. They just want to spend time with their loved ones for as long as God wants them to be on this earth. So I just wanted to really thank you guys for watching. And if you are watching this video, there is a link in the description. That, ladies and gentlemen, that person with his daughter, that's what a hero looks like. Okay? Not many people, and we give to, we give to people who fought in armed services here in America, and you see heroes. So I know you guys have definitely seen other heroes before, but I want to show you people who are never classified as heroes, who really truly are, and just how blessed we are to be able to come in this market. And some of you say, "Oh, I made a few $1,000s today. I had a bad day because I didn't really make the 10, 20, 30, $40,000 a day that I'm used to." Some of you, there's somebody out there who's buying flesh and blood cards and trying to support their family so they can spend as much time with their loved ones as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what a hero is. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Happy trading, make money. If you're interested in donating, link in the description. If you're interested in any part of our services, there's links in the description as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the Newsbeat.